Alright guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about King of the Monsters 1 and 2 because it's a pretty good example to use. They both came out about a year apart from each other, and they are different internally on how they work. Now, for King of the Monsters 2, there are boss hacks, like a couple of them out there already to use a few of the bosses, but the bosses need a lot of work as they have glitches and bugs that need to be worked out. However, that is the only thing I have seen for these games. Well, one doesn't have any bosses, it just has environmental enemies and objects. Again, non-playable character, non-player character is anything that you are not able to access as a player character. Anything can be a character, whether it's an object or vehicle. It all depends on what you want to do with the game. Again, I think it's pretty amusing to play as objects and just go around destroying stuff. In this game, it just looks absolutely hilarious, and I enjoy it. And you just go around, you're just this moving building, destroying vehicles, just sliding right over them and just crushing everything in your way. It's fascinating, but unlike King of the Monsters 2, King of the Monsters 1 requires a lot more work in order to even use environmental enemies or the objects. Now I'm going to go and show you guys here a little demonstration. I'm going to unpause the game here. And pay attention to that yellow building right there, the biggest one. There you go. Yeah, there's a lot of objects in here. I think I got up to 70 before it started acting up. So there's a lot of stuff to look through. And I didn't go farther than that, so there might even be more things, but yeah, so this is on its separate branch. If I tried to change it to that environmental enemy right there that's going across, or any of those, it's not going to work. Unless I find a switch or I figure out another way, which again, you've got the switch, you have changing the sprite itself, and then you have direct control. Those are your options. And how to do that is different each game, and it's not no simple task. Again, I will get into all that in my rules video, because that one, since I'm in a much better mood, I am going to redo this video, but have like a different approach to it, basically, because I was really pissed off on that video non-stop with thieves who kept complaining, and it's a pretty long story that I'll explain on that video. It'll be a little bit after King of the Monsters 2. But yeah, as you can see, there is a lot of objects here. A lot. I mean, we got objects here that aren't even supposed to be on this level, but it took a hot minute to get there. And we get different variations of some objects, color variations. Start changing some environmental enemies here. I'm gonna see a boat here in a minute. Yep, just going across, somehow splashing water, and it's getting ready to shoot me. Missed. Yep, truck just shooting me. Yeah, you got a train. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff in here. Here in a few minutes, I will be swapping to some of the objects and environmental enemies, or just environmental things like cars and trucks. So yeah, now let me show you overriding the separate branch issue. I'm getting ready to make one of these buildings my character. And there you go, right there. Of course, it will change back, and some reprogramming has to be done in order to fix that, which I end up doing. And of course, like I said, guys, in order to do this kind of stuff, it's different each game. You never really know what's going to be required, what's going to be needed, unless you actually worked on this game yourself, specifically with the characters, vehicles, or objects, anything in that manner. You're not really going to know how anything works. That's why I always say, like, you have to experiment and see what you can do. It's the charm in all this. So as you can see, now we have a steady player character instead of a object. Now I'm getting ready to change myself into an object. There we go. Now, the color palette, of course, isn't correct. I have to fix that, but, you know, I don't know. I think it looks pretty cool. So I'm gonna start fixing it so that way I can move around but still be a building. Granted, there could still be a little bit of tweaking done, but it's perfect enough that it doesn't bother me. So I'm gonna speed this up a little bit here. But yeah, I just think it's really cool. You can be whatever in a game, but it's going to depend entirely on you on what you can do. Which, when it comes to memory hacking, it's not really beginner stuff when you start getting into things like this. Which again, I'll explain in my rules video more about this, because it'd be a perfect time to do so. You know, I wish it was simple, but the simplest it's ever gonna get, guys, is select screen hacking. And that's it. File editing would be a second, because you can go online and get all the tools and whatnot, but 9 times out of 10 though, in order to NPC hack, it's gonna take a lot more than just file editing and select screen hacking. Just being honest. Like, I love this stuff, guys. I could do this all day if I was able to. So yeah, hopefully that clears some stuff up. Again, I have seen this in many other games and they function differently, how they work. So yeah, this is like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube or a puzzle in a very, very large room that is camouflaged. And the puzzle pieces are also camouflaged. And there's no way to know how it has to be put together, unfortunately. But hey, that's the charm of this. It comes down to what you can do. So, there you go, guys. Again, I do wish everybody luck, because this type of shit's not really easy. So if you do figure something out, give yourself a pat on the back, dude. I mean, give yourself a pat on the back for any kind of hacks you make. regardless if it's something that everybody can make or if it's something that only really you can just make or a few people can make. And there's a lot of hard work that goes into hacking, so, you know, it's not really this simple process 99% of the time. Especially when you get into the more complex, crazy kind of stuff like this. Anyways, guys, with that said though, I do hope everybody enjoyed the video. I am going to end it here. And of course, I will catch y'all later.